Welcome to the Watch Me podcast. I'm Lauren, but you can call me Lo. And today we are talking about worth, the kind of worth that sounds easy to believe when life is calm, but gets a lot harder when someone doesn't text back, or your jeans fit weird, or your kid has a meltdown in aisle 7 at Target, or one small thing goes wrong and suddenly your brain is like, so are we spiraling or being normal today? I mean, real worth, the kind that does not disappear when you mess up, the kind of worth that does not shrink when someone misunderstands you, the kind of worth that does not need you to be prettier or calmer or more successful or more useful, more healed, more impressive, or easier to love before you're allowed to believe it. This episode was inspired. I just read this incredible book. It was called Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima. It is a great book. I highly recommend it. And it is one of those, it hit me. This book hit me. It was good. And it wasn't like a hard read. It was a really easy read. But suddenly I'm underlining almost every single line. I'm like, damn, girl, you really talking about my life? Like, I had highlighters, I had tabs out, I had pens and everything. It was like that good. And what I loved about it is that it didn't just tell you I'm worthy. It wasn't just fun stuff like that and then leave me with a really cute quote to go off of. Gave me real tangible ways to start practicing self-worth in my actual life. So today, what we're going to do is I'm going to take what I learned from Jamie's book and mixing it in with a little what I've learned in my own life and bringing it back in a way that is real for all of us. And we're going to do this together. So we're going to talk about the lie so many of us carry, even if we don't say it out loud. And that lie is, I am not worthy. We're going to talk about the difference between confidence and self-worth, why achievement doesn't always heal the belief that you are not enough, and how Jamie's 5 shortcuts can help you start rebuilding the way you see yourself. And then, because I'm not letting you leave with just feelings and no marching orders, I'm going to give you one clear challenge to take into your real life today. Because hearing you are worthy is beautiful. If I sit here and tell you and look at you in the eyes and say you are worthy, that sounds great. But learning how to live it, that is the work. And let's be honest, a lot of us are not walking around wondering if we are confident enough. We are wondering if we are enough to be loved, enough to be chosen, enough to rest, enough to ask for help, enough to want more, enough to take up space without apologizing for it. And we may not say that out loud because who wants to casually announce hey, I'm secretly questioning my entire value as a human today while making lunches and answering emails. But it does show up. It shows up when you deflect a compliment, when you over-explain a boundary, when you feel guilty for resting, when you finally get what you pray for and still feel like you have to prove yourself to deserve it, when one awkward conversation makes you question your whole personality. And that is so exhausting because when you do not believe you are worthy, everything becomes evidence. Rejection becomes evidence. A bad day becomes evidence that you're not worthy. A mistake, someone else's opinion, that all becomes evidence you're not worthy. Your body, your bank account, your relationship status, your productivity, your mood, your past, your parenting, your healing timeline, all of it gets dragged into court and it gets a vote if it's evidence. But the truth is, your worth is not a case you have to keep on winning. You are not here to prove you are lovable. You are not here to audition for belonging. You are not here to become so easy, so impressive, so useful, and so low maintenance that nobody can reject you. Because that version of you, she is not free. She is exhausted. She is performing. She is surviving in a cute outfit. And today we're calling that out. The lie we're challenging is I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of love unless it's easy. I'm not worthy of rest unless I've earned it. I'm not worthy of being seen unless I'm impressive. I'm not worthy of wanting more unless everyone else is okay first. I am not worthy of taking up space unless I can prove I belong there. That lie is sneaky because most of us don't walk around saying I'm not worthy. It's not something you hear people say or that you say all the time. We just live like it, right? We prove, we perform, we overthink, we overgive, we overexplain, we apologize for having needs, we chase approval, we shrink, we stay quiet, we try to become easier to love. But your worth is not up for debate. It never was. And this is where confidence and self-worth get confused. Confidence says, I think I can do this. But self-worth says, even if this does not work out, I am still enough. Confidence can help you walk into the room, but self-worth helps you stay yourself once you get in there. Confidence can help you take the risk, but self-worth helps you survive the outcome without turning it into a verdict on your identity. And that difference matters because some of us have spent years becoming really good at pushing through and showing up and figuring it out and holding everything together, being the strong one, being the helpful one, being the one people can count on. But deep down, we are still living like our value has to be proven every single day. A lot of us are not living from worth. We are living from proof. And I need you to know something before we go any further. You are not hard to love because you have layers. You are not disqualified because your story got messy. You are not behind because you had to survive before you could build. There is nothing wrong with the woman who is listening to this right now trying to figure out why she can believe in everyone else but still struggles to believe in herself. You are not the problem. The lie is the problem. The wound is the problem. The story that told you I am not worthy is the problem. And today we are not letting that story keep raising you. I say that with love because I know that feeling. I know what it feels like to look confident on the outside while your mind is in the background hosting a TED Talk called Here's Why You're Not Enough. And somehow it's got slides and citations and evidence and way too much. And I know what it feels like to want more and then immediately feel guilty for wanting it, like all the time. I know what it feels like to achieve something you prayed for, feel proud for 5 minutes, and then your brain immediately starts looking for the next thing to worry about, fix, or chase, or prove. There have been moments in my life where everything on the outside looked like evidence. I was doing the thing. I was showing up. I was achieving. I was being the strong one, the capable one, the one people can count on. And still, underneath all of that, there was this quiet fear that if I stopped performing, if I stopped being useful, if I stopped being impressive, people might not know what to do with me. And that is when I started realizing confidence was not always the thing I was missing. I could do hard things. I had proof of that. What I was missing was the belief that I was still worthy when I was not doing or fixing or proving or producing or holding everything together. Like I live with that feeling a lot. And maybe you know that feeling too. Maybe your life looks like proof from the outside, but inside you're still waiting for someone or something or some achievement, some number on the scale, some relationship, some opportunity, some version of you to finally make you feel like you're enough. So I want you to start noticing what we're going to call worthiness math. This is the little equation your brain has been like running quietly in the background. I'll feel worthy when I lose weight. I'll feel worthy when I make more money. I'll feel worthy when I am more successful. I'll feel worthy when people finally understand me. I'll feel worthy when I'm easier to love, easier to handle, easier to approve of. And I want you to catch that because the second your worth becomes something you have to earn, your life turns into one giant performance review. So when that thought comes up, when, I'll feel worthy when, I want you to ask yourself, what if I'm worthy now? And this goal is something I get to choose from worth, not chase for worth. Because that's a completely different energy. Because chasing from unworthiness will make you exhausted. Choosing from worth will make you powerful. Self-doubt is expensive. It costs you opportunities you never take, conversations you've never had, rooms you'll never be in, dreams you will keep calling silly, boundaries you'll never set, rest you never allow, and versions of yourself you never meet because you're too busy trying to be acceptable for everybody else. But even if self-doubt has cost you time, choices, and opportunity, I need you to hear this clearly. You are still not too late. Your life is not over because you doubted yourself. Your dream did not expire because you were scared. You did not miss every chance because you needed time to become brave. There is still more in you. There is still time. There is still a version of you waiting for you to stop asking for permission. I swear the woman you're becoming is not mad at you for taking you so long. She's just glad you're finally coming home. And I want to normalize this for a second because you are not crazy for having these patterns. A lot of us learned early that love and praise and attention and safety or acceptance came when we performed a certain way. Maybe you were praised when you were easy. Maybe you were valued when you were helpful. Maybe you were celebrated when you achieved. Maybe people loved the version of you who didn't need too much, didn't ask for too much, didn't complain too much, and didn't make things uncomfortable. And honestly, I catch myself doing this and passing this down to my kids, even with the best intentions. This is easy to pass down, even if I don't mean to. Like with my kids, how many times have I said something like, thank you for being so good at the store. Mommy's so proud of you. Or you were so easy today. Let's get you a treat. And listen, I'm not saying we can never praise our kids. Please, we are all just trying to survive Target without some crying. And sometimes that person is us. But it made me think, how early do we start learning that being good means being easy? And how early do we start connecting love with behavior, approval with performance, praise with not needing too much? And again, this is not about blaming our parents or blaming ourselves as parents. Most people are doing the best they can with what they know. But it does help us understand why so many of us grew up believing if I'm easy, I am lovable. If I'm helpful, I am valuable. If I achieve, I am worthy. If I need too much, I'm a problem. And maybe that belief does not just disappear when you become an adult. It follows you into your relationships, into motherhood, into work, into your dreams, into the way you rest, into the way you ask for help, into the way you apologize for having needs. And that is why work matters, because at some point we have to stop confusing being convenient with being worthy. And when that happens long enough, you start confusing being convenient, especially as women and as moms, because motherhood can make this worth wound even louder, even if nobody says it out loud. We are praised for carrying everything. We are called amazing when we disappear into everybody else's needs. We are told we are strong when we're exhausted, selfless when we ignore ourselves, inspiring when we somehow keep everything functioning while our own needs are quietly collecting dust in the corner, like abandoned gym equipment. And listen, I love being a mom. I love taking care of people. I love showing up for the people I love. But being needed is not the same thing as being valued. Being exhausted is not proof that you are worthy. Running yourself into the ground is not a love language. And mama, if nobody has told you this lately, you are more than what you do for everybody else. You are not just the meal planner, the calendar keeper, the emotional translator, the snack finder, the appointment maker, the one who knows where every missing shoe lives. You are still a woman with dreams. You are still allowed to want things that belong only to you. Loving your people does not require losing yourself. Because if the only time you feel valuable is when you're useful, what happens when you need rest? What happens when you need help? What happens when you disappoint somebody? That is where the wound shows up. If your worth is tied to what you do, rest will feel like guilt. It does for me. That's a big wound I deal with. Is resting feels guilty. Boundaries feel like betrayal, and wanting more for yourself feels selfish. But the truth is, you do not need to become worthy because you prove it. You start healing when you stop treating your worth like it's up for debate. And I need you to hear me say this like I'm sitting across the room from you and grabbing your hand and looking you dead in the eye and refusing to let you laugh this off. You are worth knowing, not the polished version of you, not the easy version, not the version who has it together, responds calmly, makes everyone comfortable, and never needs a thing. You, the real you, the one with a million layers, the one who has survived things nobody's clapped for, the one who has complicated feelings and big dreams and old wounds, weird little fears, and a brain that sometimes acts like it needs adult supervision. The real you does not need to be edited down to be loved well. And if someone only knows how to love the version of you that costs them nothing, they do not get to convince you that your needs are the problem. The version of you that has to disappear to be loved is not love. That is performance. And you are tired because you were never meant to perform your way into belonging. Okay. So now let's make this practical. I want to give full credit here. These 5 shortcuts we're about to talk about come from Jamie Kieran Lima's book, Worthy. And I love them because they don't just tell you to believe you are worthy, they give you something to practice. And hear me clearly. Shortcuts are not magic tricks, people. You have, this isn't going to solve overnight. This is not do mirror work once and suddenly your nervous system is wearing linen pants and sipping cucumber water. These are reps. These are small practices, tiny moments where you stop abandoning yourself and start teaching your brain we are not living from the old story today. So let's get into the shortcuts. The first shortcut is seeing outward and seeing inward. This is about intentionally seeing beauty, goodness, and worth around you so that your brain can start learning how to see it within you too. Because a lot of us have trained our minds to scan for what is wrong or what is missing in a situation, what could fall apart, what we hate about ourselves. And when your brain is always hunting for problems, it eventually starts treating you like one. Seeing the good doesn't mean denying what hurts. It does not mean pretending painful things are beautiful. It means refusing to let pain become the only thing your mind knows how to find. Okay. So for the next 24 hours, look for beauty on purpose. Notice the sky. Notice someone's laugh. Notice one good moment, even if the whole day was not good. The moon. Then ask yourself, where does beauty still exist in me? And do one thing that treats you like someone worth caring for. Drink the water, eat the food, take the walk, go to bed, ask for help because care is not selfish. Care is evidence. Every time you care for yourself, you are teaching your mind and your body, I matter here too. Now, the second shortcut is writing and worthiness. This is not about becoming a perfect journal girl with matching pens and a sunrise routine. Beautiful if that is you, but some of us are writing in the notes app at midnight with one eye open and a child sock stuck to our legging. That counts too, okay? The point is this, give your healing a paper trail. Write through the hard thing. Tell the truth about rejection, the disappointment, the messy season, the moment that it hurt. Then come back to it later, like 6 months later. So write the situation, journal your day to day, or go back in your journal. If you do journal, find something you went through 6 months ago and say, what did I learn? What strength did I build? What do I understand now that I could not see then? Because your brain remembers the wound. It remembers the rejection. It remembers the mistake. It remembers the awkward thing you said in 2009 that literally nobody else remembers. But it forgets the comeback. It forgets the mornings you got up. It forgets the tiny improvements. It forgets the quiet courage. So write down the proof on purpose, not shame proof, growth proof. At the end of the day, write one piece of proof that you are growing. Maybe you did not spiral as long. Maybe you asked for help. Maybe you told the truth. Maybe you rested instead of pushing through. Maybe you received a compliment without deflecting it. Your fear has a microphone long enough. Now your growth needs a turn. The third shortcut is higher intentions, higher self worth. Jamie teaches that when you focus on the good intentions behind what you do and say, it helps strengthen your self worth. And I love this because so many of us judge ourselves only by the outcome. The conversation went weird, so I failed. The post didn't perform, so I embarrassed myself. The boundary made somebody uncomfortable, so I was wrong. Pause. What was your intention? Were you trying to tell the truth? Were you trying to love well? Were you trying to be brave? Were you trying to stop abandoning yourself? Were you trying to choose healing instead of hiding? Your intention matters because it tells you something about your heart. You are not just your outcome. You are not just your mistake. You are not just the thing that didn't go perfectly. Now, good intentions do not excuse bad behavior. We are not using intention as a get out of accountability free card. Okay? Absolutely not. If you hurt somebody, repair it. If you made a mistake, own it. If you need to apologize, apologize. But do not take one imperfect outcome and turn it into your identity. Because guilt says I did something wrong, and shame says I am something wrong. That's a massive difference. You are not letting one chapter name the whole book. You can be accountable without hating yourself. You can regret something without living in punishment forever. You can be honest about where you've fallen short without deciding you are unworthy of love, peace, joy, success, or a better life. Shame does not make you better. It keeps you small. And you are not here to say small as proof that you were sorry. You are here to grow. So your practice here is simple. When something does not go perfectly, ask, what was my intention and what can I learn? Not what was wrong with me. That question changes everything. Okay, fourth shortcut, being seen and heard. Jamie teaches that one of the quickest ways to get what we need in life is to first give it. So if seeing yourself is hard, first start by truly seeing somebody else. Make eye contact. Compliment somebody. Notice the cashier. Tell your friend what you admire about her. Say, I see how hard you're trying. Because when you practice seeing worth in other people, you strengthen your ability to recognize worth itself. And eventually you have to stop making yourself the only exception. You cannot keep seeing beauty, courage, strength, and humanity in everyone else and then look at yourself and be like, accept me. No, you are not the exception. But being seen does not mean giving unsafe people full access to your heart. It does not mean oversharing with people who treat vulnerability like gossip. It means telling the truth in safe spaces, it means letting someone get to know the real you, and letting yourself take up space without apologizing for existing. And it means asking, who actually sees me and who only likes the version of me that stays small? Because a circle expands you. A cage only feels safe when you stay small. If someone needs you small to feel okay, you are not too much. Their cage is too small. So your takeaway, see one person today and let one safe person see a little more of you. And the fifth shortcut is mirror work. And yes, I know mirror work can sound cheesy. Like, great, now I have to stare at myself in the mirror and say affirmations while my dry shampoo is fighting for its life. But for a lot of us, the mirror has not been a place of love. It's been a courtroom. When's the last time, can you think about the last time you walked into a mirror, into a room in a mirror and actually looked at yourself in the eye? When we go into our, say, first thing in the morning, or you're doing your makeup, you're looking at your outfit. When you're at a restaurant and you go to the bathroom and you look in the mirror, you're checking to see if there's some food in your teeth. You're checking to see if your outfit's okay, if your fly is zipped. You walk into it and immediately start presenting evidence against yourself. You're looking for things wrong to fix: your face, your body, your skin, your tired eyes, the way you look compared to who you thought you would be by now. Before the day even starts, you've already decided whether you're allowed to feel good about yourself. Mirror work interrupts that pattern. One version of this is, I love it and I do it all the time, is Mel Robbins' high five habit, where you look yourself in the eyes, give yourself a powerful high five and smile. Simple, it's weird, it's powerful. It feels weird the first few times, but it's amazing. You have to look at yourself in the eyes, really look at yourself in the eyes and be proud of yourself. And honestly, being mean to yourself every morning is also so weird. So let's not act like that was a normal option anyway. Try it. Look yourself in the eye. Give yourself a high five. Smile. Say one true thing. I am worthy of love exactly as I am right now. I am still here. I do not have to hate myself into healing. I can choose myself today. If your brain argues back, good. That means you found the wound. The point is to not magically fix your whole life in the bathroom mirror. The point is to notice what comes up when you try to tell yourself the truth. You are not standing in front of the mirror to become obsessed with your reflection. You are standing there to stop abandoning the woman inside it. She is not your enemy. She is not a before picture. She is not a problem to solve. She is the one who survived everything you keep minimizing. Talk to her like she matters. And while you're there, pay attention to your self-talk. Would you say those words to your daughter, your best friend, a woman you love? If not, why have you decided you're the exception? Your inner critic is not wise just because she's loud. Loud does not mean true. Familiar does not mean right. So when that voice says you are not ready, ask, is that truth? Or is that fear trying to keep me familiar? When it says you're too much, ask, is too much for who? And when it says something cruel like, whose voice does this even sound like? Because sometimes that voice in your head is not your truth. Sometimes it's an old wound, and you do not have to keep obeying a voice just because it's been loud for a long time. So those are the 5 shortcuts: seeing outward and seeing inward, writing in worthiness, higher intentions, higher self-worth, being seen and heard, and mirror work. And I want you to notice something about all 5 of them. Okay, none of them require you to become a completely different person overnight. None of them require you to be healed first. None of them require you to have perfect confidence. They are small practices that help you start living like your worth is already there. That is practice, not perfection. You are not going to look for beauty one time, journal one hard thing, high five yourself in the mirror, and suddenly float through life like a healed fairy godmother with perfect boundaries and no emotional baggage. That is not the assignment. The assignment is repetition. The assignment is choosing one small practice that tells your brain we are not living from the old story today, because self-worth is not built in one giant breakthrough. It is built every time you stop abandoning yourself in the small moments. And this is where self-worth has to leave the journal and enter your actual life. Not perfect action, not giant dramatic action, not I'm changing my whole life by Tuesday and becoming a new woman action, just honest action. Send the email, record the video, apply for the thing, say no without the novel, say yes without asking 12 people to approve it first, let the compliment land, take the walk, start the draft, tell the truth. Do one thing that a woman with self-worth would do, even if your feelings have not caught up yet. That is how self-trust gets rebuilt. Every time you show up for yourself, you rebuild trust. And when you trust yourself, you stop needing the whole world to validate you even more. So stop outsourcing your identity and stop treating other people's opinion like breaking news alerts around your worth. Because you are not trying to become worthy. You are unlearning the lie that said you were never worthy in the first place. And I need you to hear me. I wish you could see yourself without the filter of everything that hurt you. I wish you could see the woman I'm talking to right now. The woman who has been so hard on herself for surviving the only way she knew how. The woman who kept blaming herself for wounds she did not ask for. The woman who has carried guilt that has never hers, shame that should have been handed back, and expectations that were never realistic to begin with. The woman who has spent years trying to become easier to love when truth is she was never too hard to love in the first place. The woman who has apologized for having needs. The woman who has shrunk her dreams so they would not make others uncomfortable. The woman who has laughed off her pain because she did not want to be a burden. The woman who has called herself too much when really she was just asking the wrong people to hold something sacred. I wish you could see how much beauty there is in the fact that you are still here, still trying, still hoping, still listening to things like this because some part of you knows there is more for you. And that part of you is right. You are not too late. You are not too damaged. You are not too complicated. You are not too much. You are layered. Yes, we are human. Absolutely. But you are not unworthy. You are worth finding. You are worth knowing. You are worth loving. And you and all of your 1 million layers. And anyone who only knows how to love the easy version of you does not get access to the whole beautiful, complicated, powerful woman you are becoming. So I want you to ask yourself this. What would you choose today if you believed your worth was not up for debate? Would you rest without guilt? Would you stop apologizing for having needs? Would you let yourself want the dream without shrinking it down? Would you stop chasing someone who only loves the version of you that makes them comfortable? Would you apply? Would you speak up? Would you let the compliment land? Would you walk into a room like you belong there, not because you have to prove you do, but because you finally understand you were never supposed to beg for space in your own life? That is not ego. That is ownership. This is you deciding that your life is not a group project and your worth is not a vote. The world does not need to agree with your value for it to be real. Your past does not get to define it. Your fear does not get to erase it. Your mistakes do not need to cancel it. Someone else's inability to see you clearly does not get to shrink it. And your brain, even when it's loud, dramatic, and fully committed to chaos, does not get the final word. You do. So if your old worthiness math is I'll be worthy when, I want your new worthiness math to sound like this. I am worthy now, and I get to build from that truth. I am worthy now, and I get to heal from that truth. I am worthy now, and I get to grow, want, rest, receive, try, fail, learn, begin again, and become from that truth. Not because I proved I'm enough, not because everybody approved, not because I finally became easy, impressive, productive, beautiful, healed, convenient, to deserve a life that feels good, because my own worth was never waiting for me at the finish line. It came with me. And that is why this conversation has to be part 1, because before we can talk about fulfillment, purpose, confidence, growth, contribution, dreams, impact, calling, or building a life that actually feels like yours, we have to start here with worth. And if you skip this part, everything else turns into proving. Confidence becomes performance, growth becomes punishment, contribution becomes people pleasing, success becomes temporary relief. Fulfillment is what keeps feeling just out of reach, because deep down, the good things in your life you're still trying to land in a heart that is questioning whether it deserves them. So this episode is the foundation. Part 1 is about unlearning the lie, I'm not worthy. And part 2, we're going to talk about what happens next, how self-worth becomes the multiplier, how it changes the way you build confidence, the way you grow, the way you contribute, and the way you finally start building a life that feels fulfilling instead of just impressive. Because you are not here to prove your worth. You are here to build a life that reflects it. So here's your self-worth reset for the next 24 hours. Okay, do one thing from Jamie's shortcuts. Not all 5. 1, look for beauty on purpose. Write down one thing you learned from a hard season. Name the good intention behind something you did today. Make one person feel seen. High five yourself in the mirror and say, I am worthy of love exactly as I am right now. Then take one action that proves your worth is not up for debate. Receive the compliment. Ask for what you need. Stop over explaining. Do one brave thing. Write down one piece of proof that you're becoming her. Because we are not turning self-worth into another impossible checklist. Absolutely not. Just choose one thing that says, I am done treating my worth like it's a negotiable. And I'm saying this to you because I'm still practicing it too. I am not teaching this from some mountaintop where I magically mastered worthiness and now float through life unbothered. Absolutely not. I do this stuff every day. I do these little shortcuts every day. I'm teaching this because I know what it costs to live like your value has to be proven. And I know the freedom that starts to come when you finally stop negotiating with that lie. So before you go back into your real life, I want you to hear this. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not a burden because you have needs. You are not behind because healing has taken longer than you wanted. You are not weak because you got triggered. You are human, and being human does not make you unworthy. It makes you real. So when you forget, come back to this. Your worth is not fragile. It does not disappear because someone misunderstands you. It does not shrink because you made a mistake. It does not depend on how useful, impressive, agreeable, productive, or successful or as easy as you can be. Your worth is not waiting at the finish line. It came with you. So stop waiting to become worthy. Stop asking fear for directions to a life it's never been brave enough to build. And when the old story tries to pull you back, when your brain starts acting like a liar, when fear whispers that you are not ready, not enough, not capable, or not allowed, I want you to look at that thought and say, watch me. Not because you have something to prove, but because you finally know you were worthy before you ever started proving anything at all. If this episode hit something in you, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so we can keep doing this work together. Come hang out with me on Instagram at the Lauren Fritz, TikTok at Watch Me Pod, and YouTube at Watch Me Pod. And like I'll always do, I love you, I am proud of you, and I believe in you. And I know you might have trouble loving yourself, being proud of yourself, or believing in yourself right now, and that's okay. So until you can do this alone, use my love and belief in you to go out and kill it today. You are not here to prove you are worthy. You are here to choose like you finally believe it.